All right. So, welcome back to me, right? It's been since what, Friday that I've been on? Yeah, it's been since Friday. It feels like it's been a fast and a short 2 days, but it's been a nice little respite, relaxation, hanging out with my husband. It was really nice because I'll tell you, ever since, I don't know, I mean, he's been taking an interest in Appalachia in his background because I love the food of Appalachia. It's very substantial. It's extremely nutritionally full of everything and some strong people. And so I'm sure he has a new appreciation when you think about it of Appalachia because of their background and the foods and all of that. And so going to West Virginia, wow, I'll tell you, I was just I like the landscape, the mountains, the Appalachians. I'm sure somewhere other places there's the Blue Ridge Mountains. There is an Epperly Road somewhere in West Virginia. We did do a Google drone over it and not much to it. But yeah. And so hanging out with my husband it was a nice time for us just to hang out. And I'll tell you, given all that I've done with my upper and lower alimentary canal, with all this crazy stuff that's going on, even with my body every July 4th, I'm surprised that I wasn't sick on the trip, getting dizzy. I don't want to say vertigo because that's not even what I would call it. I would always get sick, like headaches. Whenever my parents and I and my sister, we would go on these long car trips, we would always be sleeping because for some reason, I guess I figured out that it's the elevation. When you change elevations, change atmospheres, change different climates, you have all this mucus that comes up. But if you don't have a really good release process and your body's not, and you're sniffing everything back up again, or your body has a really shitty release process, then all of those little microbes that replicate, that change during those frequency changes and acclimation change and climate changes, then it makes me dizzy. And so then I would just feel so car sick and want to throw up, or I would get a headache, like a splitting headache, and I'd have to go to sleep. And that's always been, even when my husband was driving on the truck and we would drive for just hours, like 10, 11 hours, I would sleep during the day while he was driving and then be up all night when he was sleeping. It was like, what the hell? I wished I was a bit more. I don't say I wish, but back then, no, there's no way I could stay up during a long car trip because that motion would just mess with me. And of course, going from one area to another, acclimating to each area, was like, okay, your body has to go through an evolutionary process. And if it doesn't have a release process, then I guess it sit with that uncomfortable feeling. But yesterday, on the way to, I think I felt a little bit tired, a tiny bit tired, but not too much, towards the last leg of the trip. And, well, I tried to take a tiny nap, but I couldn't really take a tiny nap. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I stayed up and that was fine. But then on the way back, I had absolutely didn't have to sleep at all. I had no headache, nothing. I kept blowing my nose when we went to we went to different elevations because West Virginia has some really crazy mountains and all that. So anyway, so that was good. And then even going to Blackwater Falls, I did not feel sick. Like even going up, going down, you saw the video going down. It was easy, right? You saw me videographing that. But going up, wow, that was definitely interesting. I was out of breath certain times. I had to take a rest, but I was fine. My heart was beating really fast, really fast, high blood pressure, totally sweating. But I was kept drinking my water, and I kept just saying, okay, I will survive this. And then we sat down, I ate some nachos and chili, and I was fine. And I don't even have any, like when you think about walking up, and if you haven't, I don't exercise at all. Okay, I don't. And so doing that kind of exercise, like that extemporaneously, and not feeling sore the next day, that meant my body was able to recover. Like even after I sat down after that walk, my body was able to recover that quickly. Okay, with not doing any exercise the last couple years, to then go and walk up that long flight of stairs. You saw what I was doing. That's the reason why I take those videos. So you know that even when I'm feeling like the weird stuff, like in the back of my neck, I have this little bit of a hump. Okay, it's swollen, like a lymph node swollen. So there is definitely energy conversion going on back there, but I'm still able to do stuff. But I'll tell you, you know, it's getting hotter and hotter. As it gets hotter and hotter, people's issues are going to become even more so because of the heat is causing the exponential growth. And the particle acceleration is causing the exponential growth. Okay? And so, whether you had a V or not, it doesn't even matter at this point. Because I feel it, and I never had a V. And so I know everyone who's had a V or didn't have a V is going to be feeling all this exponential growth, and the body pushing out the damage. Some people are going to resist it, and they will resist themselves out of existence. And so, and then I was remembering, I was remembering the vampire movies, allegory. Remember all these stories out there, whether it's vampires, Bible stories, any kind of allegory, is a representation of humans. It's a representation of humans and how humans have been back then. I would say the resets back then. What do you mean by back then? Let's say 1918, World War I, World War II, 1918. There's been other great resets, total extinction level events, but not literally like extinction, like all of humans, but certain types of humans based upon, well, sometimes there's targeted humans and there's genocide, but then also the atmosphere changed to such an extent that certain humans that couldn't withstand those kind of changes would disintegrate. And so I was thinking about all the different vampire movies, whether it's the Vampire Diaries, Dracula, Nosferatu, even the vampire movies back in the 90s, and I watched them with I forget her name, but Keanu Reeves is in it. See, Keanu Reeves is in movies that are really integral to understanding what the system is trying to tell you about humans. And so that movie with Keanu Reeves, Dracula, I think it's called Dracula, or Bram Stoker's Dracula, that's right. And it had Winona Ryder, that's right, and that other dude, I forget it, Gary Oldman, yeah. Well, so you have those movies, so you have that one, and then the Vampire Diaries and Twilight series, and then you have the werewolves and all that. They all represent the old world and the new world. Like, all humans are vampires when you think about it. We are immortal, but we were told that we weren't immortal because of how they characterized evolution from going from one environment to another. And so whether you go from one environment, like I went to West Virginia, so that's going from one environment to another. So I'm going this way, right? And let's say the particle acceleration with the environment really shifting aggressively going this way. And it's going hot and cold and this and that and everything. And so that right there is double whammy. I have enough weight on my body to handle all those crazy conflicting change in environments. But let's say you're staying put in one area. Let's say you're just staying in Montana. Let's say you're just staying in Ohio. Let's say you're just staying in certain parts of England or Scotland or any place. Let's say you're just really homogenized in one area. And so your body's gotten used to the seasons changing in a very specific climate. It doesn't go too high or it doesn't go too low. But then something comes in and changes it, right? That's when people get sick. That's when people get all the feelings of symptoms and disease. And when the climate changes drastically, and then you add in more diversity, then you're seeing even more evolution. So then what somebody, I don't know if it's with Imhotep or somebody figured out how to use those changes against the population and make them think that those changes are something bad. Something that, if you don't feed yourself and you're too far gone because of trauma and other types of stuff, then you'll die. if you have so much disease on a body that can't handle the energy conversion. So yeah, on one hand, whoever discovered how to use disease against a person and evolution against a person figured out that if you don't feed yourself and if you are so at a deficit that you will convert yourself out of existence. And so the other side of it, if you feed the energy, feed all of those disease, feed everything that is causing you feelings of unease, disease, whatever, that you could survive energy conversion. You could survive energy changes. You could survive season changes. You could survive great resets. So as long as it's not like a big, huge nuclear bomb coming into your area and completely decimating, well, obviously, that's the inverse square law. The closest you are to that radiation source, the more it's going to affect you. So that's why I said then people who are vampires, right? People who are vampires, well, that's everybody. But those that don't realize that the sun will disintegrate people who are not paying attention. See, I can't just be out in the sun all the time. If I'm out in the sun all the time, like right now, even if I'm eating everything I'm eating, you have to feel the pain of sickness of the body releasing and replacing all the damaged cells from all the sun rays. So if I had my old lifestyle or the old intake of food, all my issues, if I was out right now, or even then, if I don't eat so much, I'm out in the sun all the time, I would disintegrate. That's a lot of energy conversion for the body to handle and be able to recover from and replace what was lost during all of that energy sucking from the sun. And so when you think about it, humans, we are vampires. You can be immortal if you learn how to play the game of not being out in the sun so much that it's fine. People like my husband, he's a trucker, so he's in the truck. He's not sitting out there laboring out there in the middle of the fields, toiling. And he's a big dude, so he probably could handle it. But at this point right now, his body's been so battered up that it's better that he's in the truck at this point and doing what he does and maybe potentially working in an office maybe someday or maybe not. Who knows? And so those that go out predominantly, at night, but not partying up and all that, and they take care of their stuff and they don't go out so much during the day, especially with these high UV rays, then they could save themselves and become immortal if they know how to release those demons. And so there are and then in some of these movies, it's another show, I forget the name of it. It's not The Walking Dead, but it's another show about daywalkers and nightwalkers. And so daywalkers are the ones that evolved into still being carnivorous, right? Which is why you become a vampire, why they say that you're a vampire, because you're carnivorous and you like the taste of blood and animal blood, but not so much human blood. But anyways, the daywalkers graduated to be able to walk out in the sunlight without completely dying. But then, it's a lot of different allegory in one. It can all be taken in different ways. But I will say this, all humans are vampires. And so that Neil Young song, we are I'm a vampire baby, sucking blood from the earth, right? And so we are all vampire babies sucking blood from the earth. And that's why we're in this great reset, because mankind figured out that you have so many humans that don't have any boundaries on reproduction and consumerism. They will suck the life out of the earth around them. And then they keep moving to different places and suck the life. And so why now the Rosicrucians are balancing both sides is that unless you can get your consumption and your reproduction under control, you'll not only reproduce yourself out of existence, but you'll consume yourself out of existence because you won't know your boundaries. And so that's why the climate has changed. And it's going to become hotter. Literally, it's going to become hotter. And so, which means that those that don't have any boundaries, that don't have less substance than most, or have so much substance that they don't know how to manage the substance they have, they won't survive. But if people want to do what they want to do, let them do what they want to do, and the environment will take them out. Nobody is going to go into their house and do anything to them. No one's going to do. It's the environment. If you don't change the way you do shit, the environment will kick your ass. If you don't understand how to face your symptoms and face your demons, the environment will kick your ass because it'll cause so much growth that you won't be able to handle that growth. Getting so much money and not knowing what to do with it. And so then you're you're buried up to your eyeballs in gold coins. That's what all this energy is. It's like being given so much gold and so much money that all that energy just completely makes you supernova and destroys you. That's why the lottery, when you watch somebody win the lottery, they didn't know what to do. They spend it all, or everybody comes out from the woodwork and says, hey, you owe me this, or hey, let's be best friends, or hey, let's do this. And so then having so much money, like winning the lottery, can actually be worse than being poor, because then you have to manage watching it and be taking care of yourself and make sure someone doesn't hurt you for your money and all of that. You know, people that have so much nice stuff because they think that they're all like, you know, big shot because they have such nice stuff. They always have to have alarm systems and guards and wonder if someone's going to come and steal their shit. I mean, having shit, I'll tell you, I don't want a lot of nice shit. I don't. Because that then makes you a target for someone who doesn't have nice shit, that's jealous, that doesn't know how to manage their own stuff and learn how to live with less. The jealous and the envy people then go after people who have nice shit. So that's why you don't want to make yourself a target. And so you learn how to live with less. And I don't even need nice shit. I just want some clothes and food and all that. And so right now we're in an allegory of teaching people that greed is not good. It was in the 80s when they wanted people to innovate and get the system up and going and the infrastructure built. But now it's all done. Now the system doesn't need half as many people as we have right now. And people are finding out very quickly that they are expendable if they deem themselves expendable. And many do deem themselves expendable because they won't change. They will not change. So, oops, wrong side. And so I'm going to, and so yeah, now it's time to learn about the upper and alimentary canal and the lower one and everything to open up your system so you can release the demons and take in food. People are definitely gonna have to figure out how to chill out now, because you keep resisting what's going on and not wanting to change, and you keep going 1,000 miles an hour. The environment's gonna kick your ass. It's gonna kick your ass. And so let me read this and I'll go down my timeline. So we're all a vampire baby sucking blood from the earth. My recap from West Virginia. I'll go there. I won't go too far into that because I already have videos to show that. But sickness is evolution. You got to measure out when you want to quit while you're ahead, because if you don't find out sooner that it'll be better for everyone to quit when you're ahead, Mother Earth will make you quit and she'll take your head. Like Mother Earth will make you quit. So now it is time to learn about your upper alimentary canal and the lower one. Because if you don't get to know them and clear out the passages without taking away substance, the alimentary canals, both the upper and the lower one, will find a way to open up. And you might not survive the energy conversion. And that is heart attack, strokes. That is all the different diseases, the sudden events that people are not expecting because they've always resisted energy and evolution. And so Mother Earth will force your body to open up. If you keep resisting it, you will destroy yourself. And people are resisting their body opening up and releasing demons and also taking information. And so, given traveling to West Virginia was the first trip my husband and I were on together ever since 2018, we did pretty well. And it does take time to recalibrate going into one environment to another, which is why you have to understand when the environment changes in your area, you have to recalibrate, okay? Which is why short trips only try to do a few things. Longer trips, you have time to acclimate to the environment. So if you're taking a long trip, then you're going to have to get yourself used to the environment. You know, blow your nose, pull out the crap, eat food, get yourself acclimated, and then you'll be able to do stuff. This is after you finally release all your demons and you're in my position. Well, there's still demons that are still coming up, but it's not as bad. I have the body to deal with it. Because I don't know how many PTSD damage is in my body, and I still am releasing stuff. Okay? And so, but you must independently keep your head clear and your lower half clear, especially every morning. Especially every morning. This is how you will save yourself in this environment. Because every morning, even the last couple of days, I'd wake up, I'd be blowing my nose, opening up my system and blowing my nose. Okay? And that is necessary. That is so necessary. That's opening up your upper half and your lower half. And so I said headache yesterday, acclimating, blowing my nose, headache was gone. So I came home when I had a major headache. Okay, I had a headache, and I took a shower. Even then, I came home, took a shower, and I made some spaghetti that my husband and I ate, and then I had to go to bed. And I had a headache, and so I kept blowing my nose, and finally the headache was gone. And then I slept really good. Like, I slept really, really good. Okay, so so coming home was acclimating to my environment here. Okay, so either end you go, you have to acclimate. When you get the headaches, you get the weird feelings, it's because your body is acclimating to the new environment. That's why when I came from California to Ohio, I was so sick because my body was in such a deficit that I was so sick. I had all this mucus come up. Okay? And I was still able to acclimate, but I was still acclimating at a deficit. And all my hormones were off because it's just, and then you saw the last 10 years what kind of stuff I went through with acclimating to the environment and then releasing demons in the J world and dealing with all of that stuff. And so I remember even before the J world, I was getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. If I hadn't done the J world, okay, if I haven't done the J juice and evolved, hey Audrey, nice seeing you, then I would probably be big as a house and probably really miserable and probably divorced. I would actually guarantee that if I hadn't done the J world, I would be big as a house, I would be miserable, I would be bitter, and I would be divorced because I don't think my husband could handle what all the PTSD that was going on with me that was metastasizing inside of me because I'm in an environment that is different, and I was getting bigger. We were eating a bunch of food, doing a bunch of, not that it's bad, but with my trauma in the body and all the things that I still kept inside, they were becoming bigger, and I would be triggered that easily, like that easily. So the fact that I released all those demons and recalibrated my body, I'll tell you, I saved my marriage, or saved my own fucking life. Okay? So, yeah. So headache yesterday, acclimating, blowing my nose, headache is gone. And I feel like I feel like I've done a lot. And I really didn't do that much, think about it. But I felt like the last couple of days I've done a lot. And so I want you guys to watch that NBC Nightly News because they're showing you there is fires, floods, potential earthquakes, I guess. If you watch NBC Nightly News, they go over all the craziness that's going on in our world. Fires in Athens, in Greece, floods in the Northeast. It's insane. And then the heat's going to get worse. The heat index is going to be so much worse the next. It's going to be 86 degrees today. 86 freaking degrees. People don't get it, but they will. Mother Nature will teach people a lesson that don't want to fucking change, because this environment is already aggressive. It's getting more so and more so. And so genetic distribution has much to do with climate change. Yeah, I was waking up to that thinking that because you see people's different genetic distributions, like in families, and you then see how this climate is going to affect them. And those who have a weaker predisposed issues they got maybe the leftovers of the genes, and another person got the better part of the genes, whatever that means, right? It's all relative to what you mean by leftover. You will see then those that someone could be smarter, college educated, but have less in the body. The person that's not college educated, that was maybe a little bit more hard, like more aggressive and maybe criminal in their bigger body, they'll probably survive more than the person who is educated with a couple of degrees and they have a skinny body. And so you see genetic distribution has a lot to do with climate change because, well, genetics. Genetics will, how you deal with climate change, your body will determine. And so that also then translates to the bigger part of the world, because some places have a lot more people, and so they'll deal with a lot more bullshit. So, I mean, I don't know. I was just writing stuff back then. And so you see Jamie Foxx. See, when I went through that major, like last year and even this last few months, when I went through the sickness and stuff, instead of me getting it treated, right now I just sat with the information, sat with the feelings of uncomfortableness, and I drank the milk, ate the food, pulled out the crap, blew my nose, and I just sat with just feeling, whatever. And even last year when when I felt horrible, when I felt like I couldn't get out of bed and all that stuff, I pulled out the crap and I ate food and I just sat with it and just didn't really move. Okay? Well, Jamie Foxx and other people like Ashton Kutcher and all those others that had issues from this whole climate change, well, they're going to age aggressively. They may recover because they got all the different treatments, because they had the money to get all the different treatments without dying from them. But the system has taken years off their life. And so what did I say to this? Because Jamie Foxx didn't go into details of what happened to him. I can only imagine. The environment will suck the life out of you if you don't keep feeding your body and release those days. I don't know what the fuck I was saying. And release those demons. He went through major sickness, and instead of feeding it and releasing demons, he went to the hospital and treated it. He's aged progressively. And so he could have went a different direction, but they never gave him another option. That's the thing with Jamie Foxx. They never gave another option. They said, here, we'll get you treated. You get the best medicine, the best hospitals, the best doctors. I don't mean shit. It means that they're better at keeping you alive by taking away your life. But instead of feeding you and saying, okay, because what he could have done was he could have been like, hey, it's time to take a break from acting. It's time now to feed the body, pull out the crap, if he was ever told that, and just chill the fuck out. He has the money to be able to do that. He has his bills paid. Right, assuming he still has his money from all of his acting gigs. But if I was Jamie Foxx, I would have said, you know what, I'm going to do with the Jilly Juice world, dude. I'm going to drink a few of the things and open up the system, pull out the crap, eat all food and food supply, deal with all the hypertension, have a doctor monitor me during this process because he has the fucking money to do that, and just be miserable for however many years he needs to be to then release all those demons and get his fucking body back, get his life back. But what did they do? They took away what was causing him to chill out or causing him to evolve and made him less than he was. Which means that one day there'll be another frequency shift and he won't survive it. He'll be an old man. What's an old man? Someone that has less substance. Someone, because you can see his facial structure is totally different. He had a wider facial structure back when he was in his heyday. And then you can see that his head is now different. The virus and all the energy shift has completely changed his genotype. And it's the stuff inside of his body is going to suck the life out of him. Just watch all the other actors and actresses that gone through sicknesses that got treated for it. They will age out, but they are representing people to copy them. That's the depopulation agenda. And so basically in this environment, if you are deficient, your body will force you to evolve. If you are extremely deficient, you may have different types of outcome. And then you have to wean yourself back onto life again because your body was extremely deficient. If you feed the sickness and release those demons effectively without taking away substance, without starving yourself, if you don't use any remedies or oncology or surgeries, and you face your demons and you sleep when you need to, you won't take years off your life. But if you get treated, your lifespan will be cut short. You will age out aggressively. And so he went to hell and back. Oh yeah, I went to hell and back. I've been going to hell and back with all these goddamn evolutionary symptoms. And so with this little, I still have this little bit of a hump on my back. With this little monkey on my back, this time, this little lymph node swelling on my neck, it is a sign that something woke up. Again, like it happened a couple years ago. It even happened this last February when my dog passed away. But I'll tell you, I mean, it's, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. But my husband and our neighbor, when I came home yesterday, they noticed it was there. But I remember I'd had shorter range of motion the last few weeks. I could barely put my arm, I could barely go like this. I could barely put my arm over my head. I mean, it was weird. My back was kind of sore. So I noticed it's less than what it was a couple years ago with I couldn't even move, my neck and move my back. It was so sore. It's less and less. But we'll see. Okay, so I still have demons within me, and they do get woken up by all these crazy frequencies, and then I keep feeding. So I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I have no idea. So I just keep, I think that I just keep doing what I got to do. I think that maybe once a month, maybe I'll go to the McKinley Monument and go up the steps like I did when I was over there in West Virginia, and just go up the steps and do like a really quick exercise that isn't like an everyday thing, but just enough to shock the body into relief and sweating out to stuff, and then come back because I don't want to take things I don't want to be exercising like people do in this environment, because I don't want to take away substance and take away energy and take away life force, but I also want to bring in some of that motion maybe once a month for that 20 minutes, because 10 minutes down, maybe it was a little bit more than 10 minutes going up. So 20 minutes of going up and down the stairs once a month, I don't think it's a bad thing. Okay? And so I might just do that. Because I don't want to, because again, I don't want to be, I'm not an exercise freak, but I also want to be able to exorcise any kind of craziness that's in me. So, yeah. So that's right. I know I was eating Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I got hives right afterwards. Like I was itching my neck, itching everything. And it's a food trigger, but I'm not going to like starve myself. I'm going to keep eating and triggering all those symptoms in my body. And so, anyway, so by my nose, when I blow my nose and when I poop, so much pressure is released. No headache or stomach aches. Okay, so if you don't want a headache or stomach ache, you have to start releasing all those demons. Some people are naturally in aggressive environments and they naturally do stuff during the day, which makes them sweat out. So they might be sweating out demons, and that's great. But remember, everybody has different predisposed issues, different demons that they're dealing with. And so John and I were in discussion, and I was talking about weight because I have an extra weight to me. I'm not used to it, but I think I don't need it because of who knows what kind of damage is in my body. I have no idea what kind of damage is in his body. And he has a different lifestyle, different body makeup. He's also probably taller than me, so he's a lot more of the different weight distribution. So for me, getting used to a different body, and I don't feel as big as I did the last couple weeks, but when I'm going through a major energy conversion like what's going on, where there is a demon that wakes up and it's making me slower, well, that's part of it. And I have to deal with it. I'm not trying to starve myself. I'm going to keep feeding whatever demons within. I'm going to keep releasing and just deal with whatever. Occasionally do an exercise to exercise it out, but not make that an ongoing thing. And so everybody's going to go through whatever demons and whatever shit they got to go through. Some people will get skinny and they get bigger. Other people will stay relatively status quo. It's hard to say. So that's why I'm saying watch John, watch myself. Watch Audrey if she, yeah. And Tanya and whoever else. And we're all going to go through our own different stages of stuff. And there is no right way. There is no optimal way. Okay. It's just you noticing how quickly you recover from things that took you longer to recover from. Only you would know that. No one else would know this, right? No one else knows what you've dealt with or what have you not dealt with. Okay. And so this journey, as long as you keep this here open and down there open, whatever happens, happens. You just keep do what you got to do. Don't overdo anything. Don't try to conquer the demon. No, you just have to assimilate. And that requires eating food and keeping the upper and lower alimentary canal open and clear and be able to take on information and release it when necessary. And so I have complete control over everything. But there is a cost to that, right? You have to keep up with that type of energy conversion daily. You have to plan your life around it and make time for you to release those demons every time you change environments or you wake up from sleep or you wake up from sleep. You must eat. You must take naps. You must sleep. Okay, so right now in this environment, I won't go climb rocks and do things where it require me to be in a communal setting because at this point I need my privacy to make sure I survive this environment. Those that this is their one life, they're skinny, they're muscular, they may have a few lives left on their heart, so they can go and play the games that people are playing, but people are not surviving it. But they're playing the games where they can live in communal settings and they can just go from one thing to another thing, and they don't have to do too much except live off of whatever they have, and then they die happy. In a slower environment, I could probably get away with being skinny and playing those games of going from one thing to another thing. But see, that's after you have strengthened your bones. That's after you have strengthened your heart. That's after you've strengthened your ankles, the same thing, your tendons. I wouldn't at this point until I know for sure that I can handle this energy conversion. I keep feeding myself meat, milk, cheese, eggs, whatever. That I know I've reinforced my bones like my husband has when he grew up here to catch up to the Appalachian people, the hardy people that come from Western Europe, right? Okay? So at this point, I'm not going to go and try to keep up with other people because I have to make sure that I repair whatever damage and whatever deficits I came into this world. This is the time that I'm doing it. hanging out with my husband like I did, where we relaxed one day, like a Saturday, we relaxed. We did the trip, we did the trip, we did the road trip, and then we got to the town, we ate at some diner, it was nice, hanging out with the locals, and we went to the hotel, and we just relaxed. We just made it like our home. We relaxed in a different setting, had a nice view, and then we got up early, and then we did the one or two things. And that was perfect. I didn't do anything. I wasn't overdoing it. No. And I want to make sure he slept, because he was hard charging all week long and hanging out with people and doing stuff. He needed to relax and sleep, and no one bugging him with anything. Okay? So, yeah. So this is the time to rebuild your body. But if those that are like, yeah, I'm not going to stop it, I'm not going to quit while I'm ahead, I'm going to keep going, this is their only one life, they're going with the bang, okay, thank you. They're the ones keeping the infrastructure going. Because they're the ones that, well, we don't, see, here's the thing. You don't have to be a slave in this first world. There's slaves in China, other third world countries. People are dying to work the way we have been working. What's going to save your life is using your head and building up your body. That's probably why I came from California, because I had the smarts, but I didn't have the body. There's smarts out here, yes. There's smarts for specific jobs. But they got the body out here. They got the fucking body out here. This is what I want. I'm drooling. Sorry. I want a strong-ass body with a strong-ass mind. That's the ultimate human, right? Strong body, strong mind. Strong immune system. What does that mean? That you're keeping the substance, and you're also protecting yourself, releasing the demons, and you know when to quit when you're ahead if it gets that aggressive. You know how to read the indicators. Listen to the indicators. And so, you must eat, you must nap, you must sleep, and deal with whatever you feel like. Okay? Without taking away energy, without remedying any symptoms. Relax. Rat race is over for some people, not for everybody. Other people will have to find a way to end that rare rat race so they don't destroy themselves. And so I welcome every symptom. And so what does a monkey on your back mean? When I say there's a monkey on my back, well, it's an allegory. I mean, there was a specific, a monkey on one's back, a phrase of monkey, informal, a burdensome problem. Well, I guess this could be, yeah, when you have lack of range of emotion where it feels like sore. A burdensome problem. The issue of her absence from a tournament last year remains a monkey on her back. Okay, so she's suffering from that. It's a suffering. A monkey on her back, a dependence on drugs. Well, I don't have any drugs. She returned to her family with her heroin monkey on her back. I don't have any drug problems. But definitely have PTSD from a long time ago. And I have infection in the body that has to be released and it's going through its own energy conversion. So that's the monkey on my back. And I need to deal with it and not try to exorcise it away unless I don't say it. The one exercise I did going down that Blackwater Falls was a pretty cool exercise, because then I realized that I'm not sore. My legs are not sore from going up and down. Okay? But this is the time to rebuild your body. This is the time. And so, Hampton Inn, Elkins. Yeah, that was a good place to go. Okay. You can read that. So it was a good trip. West Virginia, yeah. You can read all that. And what else? You see my little reels. Let's see if there's anything I need to say. I haven't said it already, because I'm going to keep this short, because I'm still recovering from just the evolution. So I had all the whole America the Beautiful stuff. Oh yeah, here we go. All humans are immortal, but choose to be mortal. Okay? All humans are mortal, and some choose to be immortal. The world is not what you think. Vampires equals immortals, the new world. Werewolves equals mortals. Old world, Jacob, Native American. The rift between them caused them to work against each other until Bella bears a hybrid vampire-human baby against the council rules. The different, out-of-control vampires, or the ones that were like, we don't like this, wanted to destroy what they perceived could out the whole vampire nation. What do you mean out? Because a child will give them all up that they exist. Like, there are immortals among us. I would say I'm one of them, that I came out. But there are other immortals out there. I just discovered I was immortal. And I realized what it takes to be immortal. It does take strength to be immortal in this society. Okay? There's others out there that realize that they could be too as well. Others, there's no fucking way. Is it the women that have better chance to be immortal? We'll see with John. But there are definitely some men, they're like, yeah, there's no fucking way I believe what you believe. They are so resistant to even the thought of it. See, okay, so that's why I wanted to show you why I was doing those videos, because I'm a regular person. I'm a regular person going up and down those stairs. You hear how I interact with strangers, how I talk to people. I'm not some weirdo, whatever. I'm not some magical person. Oh, I know how to suffer. And I know how to live from the suffering. Okay? And so the different out of control vampires want to destroy what they perceive could out the whole vampire nation. Or like the trolls that don't like things that are different. So they destroy what's different, what they think would cause people to be, cause a threat to their lifestyle, their belief system. And so the different out-of-control vampire tribes want to destroy what they perceive could out the whole vampire nation. The child is mortal. But the child is mortal, okay? Therefore, it was no threat. But vampire children are dangerous to the vampire nation because they lack discipline. And so that's kind of what's going on, is that the system is realizing that there's so many people who are so immature that won't ever change, ever. Will never take in new information, ever. And they can be dangerous if they're not held under control and held under specific psychological limitations, that if they do something that they would, if they're so worried about their image, if they do something, then their image would be tainted and they would be, lynched or something, not literally, but psychologically lynched. And so that's why we have a police force. That's why we have psychological operations to keep people under control, because vampire children are dangerous to the vampire nation because they lack discipline. People who lack discipline are dangerous, and they are children. We have adult children out there. You know this. So the werewolves and the Cullens work together to protect the future, the hybrid future. See, it's no coincidence that Jacob and his pack were all Native American. So you see, the vampires were all the Northern European, very white, lily white. Yeah, and they showed other cultures like the Amazon vampires. But the main characters were all lily white. Like they're showing, the Northern Europeans somehow were the ones that, few of them were the ones that figured some stuff out. And so they are the leaders on some level. And then they evolved different nations out there, different cultures, and woke them up. But there's still the slaves in each of those cultures are not aware that these vampires exist, but they're not bad. They know how to, well, see, there's the story that says interesting stuff. But see, the way they depict it is that the vampires are bad, that they will go and hurt a mortal, because you saw some of them do that. But, I can be immortal, but I wouldn't go and hurt a damn fly. But those that say that humans are mortal, they'll go and hurt somebody. They'll go and destroy someone. Just look at people that resist me on my Facebook. Jillian's stupid. We're going to go destroy her financially. We're going to destroy her through her, through her reputation. We're going to just demean her. We're going to stalk her. We're going to do this. So you see how the mortal people attack the immortal people, right? That's what the system is trying to breed out of the population, is that kind of genocide, ideacide, evolutionicide, whatever. And so vampires, okay. And so the mortals and the immortals must work together and transition safely. Vampire simply means you are carnivorous. You must be. Because you see, the vegans and vegetarians are not very well fed, and they will die in this type of environment because they don't have enough substance, no collagen, hardly any fat, and they're eating only vegetables. And they will disintegrate in the sunlight. Now you see what's going on. So I'm telling you guys, wake the hell up. Some of you will, some of you won't. And so whether you Team Edward or Team Jacob, right? Okay, and then using natural or synthetic ABX causes, or antibiotics causes fertility, also known as offspring. Fertility equals cancer and death or children. Okay? So that's how fertility works. And yeah, I said exercise in hot weather puts extra stress on the body. Remember, I'm bigger than I used to be. So me going up those stairs, I was able to handle it. My heart was beating faster, but I already reinforced my heart. But if I hadn't reinforced my body, and I've done that, I probably could have died from a heart attack yesterday. I could have had a stroke yesterday. But I didn't. Right? And so, yeah. Because I had enough of a reinforced house around my vital organs that I can handle something like that. That's not too often. And so, anyways, all right. And that's all I'm going to say. About refeeding clinics and influencers and all that stuff. And so, yeah, immunity is a state of the body's strength and substance, and does it have enough reserves to convert energy and still keep you alive? And so the bigger people with a very strong heart will survive in this environment. Bigger people with strong vital organs will survive. You just have to know, if you're bigger, do you have strong vital organs? Okay? I don't know how you'd know that, but I guess there's a way to know that. And so there's some cream. Could your blood type change in this environment? I don't know. They're saying that in this one instance, as red blood cells, antigens, and our inherited traits, they are usually not altered throughout the life of an individual. Remember, we're coming from people who die and reproduce. There have been occasional case reports of ABO blood groups antigen change in malignant conditions, like someone has like a cancer. But, okay, like they mentioned that someone has myeloid leukemia. Leukemia is the leukocytes, those white blood cells that gather. But if a person, over time, if they were like A blood type, A positive, A negative, A, or B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, could they turn into an O negative or a positive? Well, that remains to be seen. If you were an AB positive, would you just be an A positive or just a B positive? Could you release those demons? Potentially. We'll see. We have people in our world that are A, and maybe will they turn O in the future? Who knows? We'll see. As far as weight and younger in the face, wow. I just know this, that you need more weight on you, but you also need to have strong vital organs. And you need collagen. You can't just have fat and skin, okay? Because then you won't have any connectivity. That's called dying suddenly, and that's elderly. No. If you're going to have more weight on you, you better have collagen. Okay. There's a fly in the house. Fucker. Okay. All right, that's all I'm going to say right now, because I'm just going to chill out. And so you guys have a good day, but here's my main takeaway. You need the time to rebuild your infrastructure. You need to take the time to rebuild your bones. You need to take the time to rebuild your body, to release demons, and to also take on the substance and reinforce your heart, your liver, your vital organs, your kidneys. Okay? What are vital organs? This is my main takeaway out of all that. Vital organs. The vital organs is the heart, the brain, the kidneys, the liver, and the lungs. Okay? You need to take the time. There's my takeaway today after all that. You need to take the time to reinforce your heart, your brain. So you got to think. Your heart, you have to be able to handle the high blood pressure and keep feeding the body and releasing the demons and blow your nose. You need to reinforce your heart, your brain, your kidneys. Okay? Your kidneys are what excretes, your bladder and all that stuff. Your kidneys, your liver, and your lungs, blowing your nose. Okay? That's what you need to do during this climate change. When you know you have predisposed issues, you know your mom has died from heart attacks and strokes, you know that people have brain cancer, kidney failure, liver cancer, lung failure, lung cancer. That's because people have not taken the time to rebuild and to release. And so when you know that that's in your family, then you take the fucking time, you quit while you're ahead, and you take the fucking time to rebuild all of that. I don't know of any issues in my background as far as any heart issues, brain issues, kidney issues, liver issues, and lung issues. So I know I had a lot of low blood pressure. That's the only thing I know of, because they would take my blood pressure and be low. But with me taking the salt, it raised my blood pressure. And then in this environment, when I feel my heart beat a lot because of the frequencies and the shifting, I'm reinforcing and I'm building up the conditioning that my blood pressure can handle this environment, and I keep feeding. So that's my major takeaway today, is you take the time to quit while you're ahead and take the fucking time to not only reinforce your kids' vital organs, because you know they're coming in at major fucking deficits, but you take the time, mom and dad, to strengthen your vital organs, because that's what's going to fucking save you. That's your immune system. That is your immune system. Vital organs, your immune system. All right, bye.